Today we're going to look at how to make these beautiful collage cards that you can send out to loved ones and friends. So stick around and we'll make a few together. Hello and welcome back to a kooky corner of YouTube. I have got a few more of these little heart cards that I've been making for the Arty Farty Hearties swap to send to my swapsters, and I've got a couple more to make, so I thought let's do it together, shall we not? We can have a go and make some, and I'll show you how I put them together. You can do this however you like. It's very much a case of this is how I'm doing mine, so you can follow along with me if you'd like to. So basically I've got some of these cards now. These specific ones, I'm not sure of the size of, they're 5x7 blank cards, and they've got, when they come, they've got a fold in the middle and you get an envelope with them as well. So I got 50 of those. And so, sorry about the rattling, and so I'm going to continue with the same size card, and yeah, let's have a go from the beginning. So first of all, I'll work on the collage itself. I have got a piece of A5 watercolour paper. This is 200 GSM. It's not too thick a watercolour paper, but it's nice to have some kind of a base to work on. And this was from a scrawler box, so it's an A5 size, but I don't want A5. I want to cut it down, so it's probably more like an A7. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. So get my handy dandy a little cutter. This one's a Fiskars one. It's my desktop one that I have at the side of my desk, because it's nice and light and I can just grab it when I need it. So we place that against, first of all, this is an A5 sheet, so we want to go to an A6. So we mark it there, hold it down there, and zhuzh it down there. And now we should have 2 A6 pieces. That's not small enough for me, so I want to be A7. So what I do is now line this up with my A7 corner on the marker sheet there. Held it down, give it a zhuzh. We've got 2 of the perfect sizes. I'm going to make 4 more, so 4 more at the A7 size there. So, whoopsie, make sure it doesn't move before you're about to do it. So add to that A5 sheet, I've got 4 pieces that I can do my collages on. So next thing I need to do is to grab out my papers, and I'll do that now. As I'm often on the go, I tend to keep a selection of papers in these little clippy wallets that I keep in this folder here, which is the perfect size for them. And I just stick a few in there before I'm going away. My painty papers I usually do on copy paper, to be honest, and they're either gel printed or they're just painted with ordinary acrylic. If you want to see some of my techniques for painting papers, please leave me a little message down in the comments and I'm happy to go through my process. I mean, there are lots of processes for making them, and basically you're just painting papers the way you like them. But if you want to see what I do, then I'm happy to go through that with you. A lot of it is just mark making. So in here I've got scrappy bits that I've already made or already used. I've got some handmade papers in there. That's not a handmade paper, that's just gone in the wrong place. These are all my little handmade, not handmade by me, it's like a handmade thick mulberry paper that I bought in sheets a long time ago. I've just got a few of those in there. In here, as I say, I've got little scrappy pieces that I have, just bits of paper. Some of them painty papers. Some of them are papers I just picked up along the way. That was a piece of wrapping tissue there. So those are in there. They're not really in much of an order, but this one had my more recently used papers in it. So let me just take this out. Oh yeah, these are the Snowpake polyfile ring binder wallets. They're A5 clear ones. You can get other ones as well, but I like these because they've got the holes in, so I can stick them in my ring binder. These pieces all came from bigger sheets. So these all came from A4 sheets that I have painted and just embellished one way or another. So these are bits that I put in here, and when it gets a little low, I'll go back to my A4 sheets and just add a few more bits in. These are from the alcohol ink video that I did, where we did alcohol ink on foil. So they're in there as well. More painty papers. I'll have a session probably once every couple of months where I just have an afternoon making painty papers, and can I tell you, it's such fun. I'll even show you, if you want to see my painty paper method, I'll show you my little Heath Robinson dryer of papers. Not there's a little tempter for you. Yeah. Something that I made up from something that you can get from Amazon, but it was just, I don't have the space, you know. I've got lots of space, but it's crammed full with stuff. So what I wanted was a space for paper to dry on. Now, if I was a sensible person, I'd clear off my middle table and that would do. But no, I did make a little dryer of papers. And if you do want to see that, along with some painty paper technique, you know what to do. Comment down below and I will I'll make sure that comes out to you. So we've got quite a few papers to go from, is what I'm saying, and I'm going to start with these because these are the bigger pieces that I'm going to use. I'm also going to get myself a little Teflon map sheet going down here as well, so we don't get glue all over my desk. It's always handy. So we've got 4 blank pieces. Now you can go straight in with some collage if you want to. So on, where are my ones that I just showed you? Popped them away again. So all we can do with these is just go straight in with some collage. It's really handy and helpful if you make yourself a little heart template. I've got mine somewhere, I'm just going to grab it. So here is my heart template, very roughly cut out, but it does the job. I made sure that it kind of fits within the boundaries of this. So I'm looking at this and it's kind of within there. So that's perfect, the perfect size. And now, so let's have a little looky. So I'm going to do this one first. So on the back of it, just grab a new pencil. And I'm going to cut out half a heart. Actually, take it, where's the end of it there? Take it to there. And then just draw around it on the back of the paper. Cut it out. Doesn't have to be perfect. Now, that's the side. So sometimes I get confused because I think, why is that bendy? That's the middle bit. We're all good, everything's fine. So the next paper, I just randomly pick sometimes from these. No, that's too close. So I want to try something that contrasts with it. Aha, aha. I like that one. So what I'm going to do is take a bit of that one. Where's the edges? I like to see where, sometimes I don't paint right up to the edges, which is annoying when you turn it over and you can't see. Such is life. Whoopsie. There we go. So I've got my second half of the heart going on here. Cut that one out. So I've got two halves of a heart. Perfect. They don't have to match up perfectly. In fact, sometimes it's better that they don't, because it kind of looks, I don't know, it looks, I mean, you do you. If you want them to match up perfectly, then make sure they match up perfectly. So you can either go on to some kind of a painty background, or you can actually paint a background as well, which is what I think I'm going to do with some of these. So I'm going to grab out my watercolour, which is on my desk somewhere. Or even I could do watercolour pencils, couldn't I? Let's do that. So I'm going to get out my watercolour pencils. So I always have a pack of these with me when I go away as well. It's just a thing. Let's go with that one, which is dark ultramarine. So I'm just going to do some random scribbly doos on these. Let me go in with another colour as well, night blue. Something really nice about these Caran d'Ache museum aquarelles, they did come out really nicely on watercolour paper. Just go down there. Nice to have a bit of a scribble, isn't it? We all like a bit of a scribble. What's this one? Ooh, permanent blue. Let's have some of that in there as well. I like to mix up my blues. Could take some of that through there as well. Lovely. If you want to be extra fancy and you don't want to risk some of your paint going into a border, or if you don't want a border, you know, these are all choices that you make as you go along. Right, okay, so now I need some water. That's always helpful. I have a water brush here. So let's have a go with that one. Look at the colours coming through. I could have done with a bit of a bigger water brush. This is kind of the small. Oh, where's my little rag to wipe off on? So I can take some of those colours down there. They are so pigmented, those museum aquarelle pencils. They are like amazing, and most of the colour blends out in the water. Really handy thing to take if you want to do some watercolour and you don't want to be too hampered with trying to take all the accoutrements that you might need. Then just some watercolour pencils, some decent watercolour pencils, and you can get a really nice result with those, and just a water brush. I'm not a huge fan of water brushes, but they work really well with the coloured pencils, and especially this size is so small. I can't believe I've got such a small water brush. I should definitely make sure I put a new thicker one in my kit for travelling with. It's done the job. It's done the job. Okay, let's put those away again. To one side, and they're not going to fall down. So now I'm going to wait for that to dry, and as soon as that's dry, we'll start compiling our heart. I also just thought while that one's drying off, I'd show you this one, which I've done, which is a stitchy heart. Well, it's not a stitchy heart, it's a foil heart, embossing foil heart with a stitched background, which is also nice for making into cards. So basically, if you've seen any of my other videos on how to make these backgrounds, which is just a piece of background pieced up with some random fabrics and then stitched into. And then we've got this little embossed heart on the front. If you want to see a little tutorial on that, I'm happy to go through that with you, but I thought I'd just show that to you now because these are all great for what I'm doing them for, which is for the Arty Farty Hearty swap, but they're also good for anything else that you want to do. And instead of hearts, you could do stars, or, you know, just a simple shape to go in the middle of them really sets them off. You could have a flower shape in the middle of there as well. So if you'd like to see that, again, go down to the comments, hit the comments, and I'll go you through my technique of those as well. It's really simple ideas. And I don't know about you, but I prefer a handmade card to a bought card any day because it just shows the amount of effort and love that someone's put in. Okay, so now this is all dried off. It doesn't take long on a warm day, especially like it is today, and also with a little bit of sunlight coming through the window to help out. Okay, so I'm just considering if I want to put anything else in my background before I carry on. I think I'm quite happy with that actually. Could put a little bit of something in the background. What shall we put in the background? Oh, I know. I'm going to go in with my white Posca pen and just add some little scribbly dots all over. You can do whatever you like. Basically, most of this is going to be covered up by the heart, but I don't want to miss an area, so I'm just going to scribble dot all over these. Some extra dots in there just for the heck. So you're also adding to another background which contrasts quite nicely with the heart. Okay, you can go in with matte medium for these. I am just, because it's just handy, I'm going to go in with a Pritt stick. So kind of judging where it's going to sit, making sure that you get all the bits covered with your Pritt stick. Pritt is great for collage. I do, when I'm doing collage pieces that are going to be hung, I tend to do them on, and just judge where that needs to go. I tend to use matte medium, which is great also for collage. Also, another thing that's good is this rice glue. That's a Yamato. That's a glue that's specifically for like collage and papers and such. So it's a slow drying glue, which is something to bear in mind if you want something to work quite quickly, which is why I also go the Pritts as well, because when I'm out and about, I want to be able to work quite quickly. Yeah, that's all good. Right, let me wipe down my desk and get rid of all this glue. I have got a piece of wipey stuff somewhere. Now, where that's run off to, I don't know. I'll go and grab it. Okay, wipe down my surface. We're all good to go. Now, you can see you don't need much of these papers in order to make up a whole bunch of cards at one time if you want to. And also you can change the shape around if you want to. If you wanted to do stars, you could do stars and cut the papers into like quarters or something to make a we might try that at some point in time. Today though, we're working on hearts. So now looking at my other one, I've not really gone into too much with this one that I've had added in. I've got some little Asamic writing going on down the side, which I quite like occasionally. So if you are fancying some of that, maybe in a different pen. Grab my other pens out, that might be an idea. I've got some of these jelly rolls, which are quite nice. And let's have a look at colours. So I want to go a bit darker. So I'm going to do a little bit of a semic writing, which is basically something that looks like writing but actually isn't. It's quite a nice little technique to use. Sometimes it can also be your own handwriting, which is messy. If you're a doctor, you've got a good go on this already. So a semic writing down one side, and also I have in my little scrappy section some other bits of paper here. So what I want to do is to add in a bit of this. So which way round is that? Okay. Okay. So if I do a half heart here, I can actually add that into there, which is quite nice, isn't it? Do that. As I say, you can do whatever it is that your heart desires. No pun intended. And let's get that. Oops, that's all. Just sticking that back down again. Oh, perfect. Get that up there. There we go. There's my little baby wipe. Clear off the gluey area so I don't get it all on my hands, which is the usual case. Okay, so let's have a look, see if there's anything else I want to add in. I did have some tissue paper in here. Looking through my little stashy of stuff. I've also got some printed tissue paper somewhere. But for now, let's go with some of this. So I'm just going to rip some paper. I quite like ripping the tissue paper. I don't quite like the hard edges that you sometimes. So it's this beautiful tissue paper. Don't know which bit to use actually. I quite like that bit that says Arts and Entertain, partly. I can't decide now. No, I'll stick with that bit. Dear, I like that bit. So let's get that stuck on. And a bit more carefully because tissue paper is quite delicate, isn't it? There we go. Yeah. Now what I have got as well are some gold markers. Really like these. Got these from Amazon. And I can just add in some little details with these. Just to add a little more interest. As I say, you can go with whatever it is that you like on yours. Try things out, because with collage you can just try it out first, see what it looks like, and you don't have to do anything with it until it comes to the committing part where you have to glue it down. So I'm going to say that's a done one. Now when I put them on my cards, what I do is I mount them on a little bit of card, some coloured card. So let me just wipe down this surface with a dry bit. I don't want it to get wet. And get my mounting card. So I've got this offcut of some backing card. It's not too thick a card, it's just a nice size actually, and it doesn't make your card too stiff. So what I'm going to do is, let me do it to that end maybe. Yeah. So I'm going to take that corner. Now the other thing I've got in my arsenal that works really well is this double-sided tape. So just put that out of the way for a moment. And a nice strong one. I'm going to put some down the sides on either side here, like so, and some along the bottom and find the centre. And some along the top. So everything on my desk has decided to avalanche now at the moment. Lovely. Okay. And take all the backing bits off, which is sometimes the hardest part. If you score them with a pin, apparently that works well. But these are coming off quite nicely, so I'm not too worried. Let's get those out of the way. Bring back my backing card. And which corner am I going to go with this one on top? So I position it with a little bit of a border around it, trying to keep it as even as possible, like so. And then go back in with the trusty cutter. Sometimes I just go in with a pair of scissors. It just depends on how I'm fixed. If I'm out and about, then I won't have my trusty cutter with me. Although it's not too big to take around and about with you, but I think I'm trying to consider where it cuts to, this one. Oops. Making that decision. I'm going to go there. I'm going to line it up with that line. And, oops, swoosh it down. So sometimes, as I say, if you're good at eyeballing distances, then a pair of scissors does just as well. In fact, that edge is just a little bit too broad for my liking. So, a little bit wonkier than it should be. Always is, isn't it, when I'm on camera? Works perfectly when when I'm just doing it for myself. It's all good. Right, let's pop that out of the way. So yeah, I never throw anything away. When I've done doing some mounting for some other things, I always save the bits of card because they're perfect for this kind of thing. Now, do I want to add anything else before I attach it to my card? This is the question. No, I think I'm good to go. So I'll get myself my blank card, which is hanging around over here. And they come like that, with a pre-scored centre, which is very kind of them, although I do have a scorer if I need to. Now, you look at that, you think that goes to the inside. Wrong, that goes to the outside. So where it's gone down a mountain fold, fold it the other way. And that comes out perfectly. Like so. If you want to, you could get your bone folder just to go down that edge, but this is really nice actually already. Look at it, position it, think, yeah, that looks fine. Go back in with your trusty double-sided tape. On all the edges. If it overlaps, don't worry about it, because when I take the edges off, I will figure it out then. I'm going to do it. I've done it on that side so you can see what I mean. So here, I just kind of lift that up a little bit, take this one off. Make sure it's all stuck down perfectly before I start ripping it up. Like so. Press that down and that'll just stick anyway. If you feel happier measuring out your pieces, you do you and do the measuring. I am quite happy winging it. This is my life. We do like to wing it. I do measure things that are important, but things that I can kind of eyeball, I don't worry too much about. Okay, so if you want to, again, you can measure the distance. I am, again, as I say, eyeballing it, hoping for the best. There we go. One other thing that I add on to my cards, just because it's my signature, so stick that at the bottom. And it's finished. And I've got another card ready to go out to one of the swapsters that I was swapping with for the Arty Farty Hearties. So yes, if you'd like to see this one being put together, leave me a little note in the comments down below, and I will certainly pop together a video for that. If you want to see one of me putting together my painty papers, we could have a painty paper afternoon together. Then again, pop that down in the comments as well. There are lots of videos on YouTube about painty papers or gel printed papers. So really, you know, it'd just be my method of what I do, which is quite slapdash, to be fair. But if you're interested in seeing, and especially that special little drying rack that I've put together, then then do leave me the comment down below, and I will make sure that we get to see that. Now, we've got a lot of things coming up this next week. We have the roundup reel for the postcard sew along, which will be, what's the last day? I can't remember. It's either Wednesday or Thursday. That will be out then, and there'll be an announcement to the new postcard sew along as well at the same time. And also a little look through at the postcard that I'm making for this time, which will be included in that video. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little look at how I put together these cards. Card making is such fun. It's something that you can do when you're stuck maybe and you don't know what to do. You think, oh, I could put together a few cards, and that way you've got a whole load of cards ready to send out when you need them. So you can just play around with some card making. That's enough waffle from me now, and I'll be back here very soon with something else. Bye for now.